All right. I know that it's recording. Let's go here. All right, everyone. Welcome back. It's July, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And I have some updates. So for the desktop controls, I added this lerping transition for the zooms with the mouse wheel because I was getting frustrated by the chunky scrolling that was before. Yeah, I did like just some bug fixing, basically, some like UX improvements. Like, like I can now zoom to 0 with the double middle button, mouse button click. If you press command, so command double middle mouse button click. So yeah, that's really useful because then like I can just like zoom in here, and that's it. So yeah, I improved the cursor charm. Before it was really shitty and like it was trying to mimic like the old implementation, but now it renders on top of a like it's another layer that's not within the desktop surface. So now if I zoom out or zoom in, like the charm stays the same. Now if I zoom all the way in here, like at this iframe, and if I focus on it, like before that there would be like no way out. I would have to just reload. But now I have this zoom out button, which basically gets you out of there. And that only happens like if you're like in focus and if it's like bigger or just as big as the screen, basically. I think I should add some padding to that, but yeah. Then I don't know if I talked about this on the previous one, to be honest, but like now I have admins and guest keys, which is better. That means I can share private links and I can scope them to a specific path, and it also means like an admin key is not just like write privilege. It has more admin privileges, which I think is nice. It's like a nicer division. That's still gonna change a lot. Like I'm just experimenting with those, and yeah. So like as I said, like just a bunch of desktop improvements. I fixed quite a few bugs. There's still some bugs that I found. Like this one's kind of funny. Like if let's say I move this and then yeah, if I place it and then like immediately zoom in somewhere, it translates me into a different place. So that's a funny bug that I just found today. And what else? I think I did something else, but I'm like forgetting about it, so I'm not really sure. Yeah, web view, just some minor tweaks. It's not nearly as good as the previous one, but it's better in some other ways. What else? Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think like I added a bunch more stuff than that, but I do want to talk about the things that I want to do next, and some explorations that I did. And maybe I mentioned this on the previous video, but I wanna run all of this on OPFS, which is the file system that the browser has. It's not like really a file system, you know what I mean? But it can get you there, and there are some existing wrappers that create like an FS module type interface for OPFS. So I'm going to explore those. But mainly, the cool thing about OPFS for this system is that, like I solved multiple problems. So first, you get way faster runtimes. Now this becomes like truly local first. If you're accessing this from like Fernando.computer domain, you have to be an admin, of course, to be able to like create a copy of everything. And yeah, I was just like thinking in general, like the desktop system here that I have currently saves everything in the HTML itself, which is something that I liked on my initial explorations. You know, there were some nice things about that. But if you want to make it like truly collaborative multiplayer and like a lot of other things, it just becomes really hard. And so now I've been thinking like, okay, no, let's make everything so that let's make this an actual desktop, and you have different files. And so then each of these sticky notes are going to be files, like text files, you know, like disposable text files basically. And so what I was thinking is, you know, you have like a space, like in this case, I'm in the lab space, let's say. In my case, it's currently like index.html, so not desktop, but I think it should be desktop.html as a convention. Or maybe it's index, I don't know. It could be index, that's fine. And so the state for the applets, so like their position, sizes, and like the file that they point to, or like the metadata that they have, are gonna be stored in this desktop.json file. So that means that you can have multiple desktops, which, you know, like each could have different dependencies, and then you have this metadata object here, which I think is nice. I like this setup. And for the wallpaper, that's also not gonna be saved under the HTML. So the HTML is going to be limited to just an entry point, basically, of which modules you want to load. And the desktop.json is going to be like an applet, like just a desktop state file. That's, you know, I don't know if I should have like a config, like a desktop config file, or just like put it here on the desktop.json as well. I think it should be here as well. But anyways, to be able to implement this though, I need to get this going first, because to make it feel snappy, like you have to, like I feel like the fastest way to work with file system, you know, in a setup that works interoperably with, like if you run this on Electron or if you run this on a normal browser, like OPFS is probably the best way to go, based on the tests that I did with the Monson editor that I showed previously. I think that, yeah, it's just gonna be like the best way to do that. And yeah, I just wrote down a bunch of notes about this, but this is the summary. And yeah, so for the changes, I think I will just add a mutation observer on each applet, which sounds kind of like crazy, but I think they're not gonna be running all the time. I'm gonna have like I don't know, I'm gonna do some tests to see like what's the most performant thing. But the reason why I want to do that is because I want to have like reliable concurrent writings. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like, this is new territory for me, so I'm just gonna like browse it and see what works best. What else? So like another benefit of OPFS is like one thing that I had conflicts with was the API layer that I had, where you can like update an API file and every peer would get it and could potentially just run it and then do some weird shit on your computer. So I like with using OPFS, basically the API, like I no longer need this API layer is what I think. Like now you can do pretty much everything that you need with the OPFS. Like sure, you could need other APIs, you know, that are not strictly like file based, but for me now, like I haven't had a need for them, and so at least, you know, at the very least, like it limits the amount of APIs, and if I limit the, you know, like this plugin system so that it runs in a sandbox or something, like I don't know, like I feel like it gives me more options, because I do need access to the local file system, and so I think like that separates those two concerns. So I'm definitely going to be exploring this. It's really cool to explore like this true local first design. On the UX side of things, or like the UI side of things, I want to add back the hint labels. So currently, like, the charm is just like this circle, and it just possesses, you know, like the different things there. But I want to add the hint labels again. I thought they were really cool, and I kind of miss them. So the other thing I want to do is I want to add the context menu, because, well, that's important. That's so useful. It's kind of like the command applet was really useful to like quickly test a lot of ideas. But the context menu is like another one of those where like I could just delete it from here, or like maybe toggle some state from it, you know. Same for the iframe. Like there would be so much I could do with that. And I want to explore that before I explore the action wheel, which I also miss a lot. Like the ability to just do like E and then like do the gesture. That was so nice, like for quick actions like delete, duplicate, etc. It was so nice. So I want to add that back, and I want to see like what's the balance between that and the context menu. I think that's an interesting thing to pay attention to. So these are kind of like my goals, not necessarily for next month. I don't know if I'll have enough time to do everything next month, but this is just kind of like what my head is focusing on regarding, you know, this portable desktop environment system that I have. Now, there's another thing I want to talk about. So, like my YouTube channel, like I've had the podcast like from some years ago, and I haven't published anything there like in years. And it's not. I mean, it could be nice to do that again if, you know, if there's like an opportunity to do something cool. But something that I do miss is like I want to do more videos about other stuff that I do, because this is like this portable desktop environment is not everything that I do. Like I like to do a ton of like little projects and prototypes and little games. So I want to document more of those. For example, this thing here is a voxel editor. So there's this thing called Magica Voxel, which is just a voxel editor. I mean, this is the viewer, so it's a different thing. Yeah, it's really cool. And I mean, I like voxels, but I don't like how they look in 3D, except if it's Minecraft, then that's okay. But on the game dev community, like 12 or 10 years ago, there was this technique called fake 3D. Well, that's how we called it. And then it got a more reasonable name, which is sprite stacking. So if I like spawn a new web view, and let's do, oh yeah, this is an iframe, so it's not gonna work. Okay, let's just leave that there, and I'm just gonna do sprite stacking. It's just a technique where it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use voxels, but what it means is that you create layers of sprites and then you render those on top of each other with a y-axis offset. So I can actually explain that with my tool here. So I'm gonna load, yeah, let's load this one. So this is a file that I loaded from itch.io. Also, let me zoom in a bit. So I have Minecraft controls for this editor, which is so nice because like I feel like the best way to work with voxels is with Minecraft controls. That's so obvious. Like there are these crazy Minecraft builds, you know, of huge mega cities, and it's also detailed. And so like, why not have those controls for this? But anyways, the way that sprite stacking works is you essentially don't render the voxels, you render the pixels as an image. So if you were to create a model out of this thing here, let me like toggle that back on. It's like you have these individual pixels, but like in reality they don't render as cubes, they just render the top surface, let's say. And then you look at it like from a top down. Like if this was like an orthogonal perspective, then you would essentially have something like this, right? And then it gives this like 3D illusion, which is what we have here. And it looks so cool. It looks like pixel art, but in 3D you have all of these possible angles that you can look at it. Now, if anyone here, like I really doubt that someone that has watched my videos knows what sprite stacking is, but if you're watching this because of the sprite stacking part, like I haven't seen anything that allows you to visualize the voxels this way, this nicely. Like it's like really close to the way that you would do like the sprite stacking, but without the performance downsides. Because here I'm not like making an image for each of them. Like instead, like I'm projecting, like I'm taking the camera perspective, and then I'm figuring out which are the pixels I need to render as if they were rendered with the traditional sprite stacking approach. Now this video is not gonna be about this. I just want to like show a bit of the other things that I like to do, which I want to make more videos about, and not like in a specific like timely manner. Like just every once when I want to, I guess. Maybe I'll just do like a video each month and I just show stuff that I did. I don't know, like I'm figuring out what exactly I want to, like what's the format. I will continue to do monthly videos though. I feel like that's good for me. But yeah, I just don't want to like just talk about like there's sometimes in a month I'm like, man, I don't feel like working at all on this, and I just want to work on this other thing. And so yeah, maybe I just talk about that. So like each month is more like a Fernando.computer summary more than like a nom summary. So that way, like everything that I put on the Fernando.computer website is what I'll talk during that month. I think that's what I'll do. I think that's what, like makes it easier for me to just think about stuff. And the format will be the same basically. Like it's gonna be within the same website. So yeah, I think that's cool. So yeah, I'm not gonna necessarily showcase all of the features for this. You could try it out yourself if you want. You can see that the URL is here. You just replace this with Fernando.computer. It's gonna take a bit to load, but hey, there you go. So yeah, what else? Yeah, I have some like to-dos here that I want to do, but anyways, I'm just gonna continue to explore all of my ideas and see what happens. Oh, and there's like the reason why I'm doing that, I forgot to mention, it's because I have this renderer. So this looks like shit on purpose, because I was experimenting like, okay, how does it look like if you rotate it and then just load it? So ignore this one, but it's not right click to rotate. But yeah, like this is so cool. You can zoom out, zoom in, and this is all fake 3D, and like you can just like really stress test this. Yeah, I'm not gonna like click all the way to like 10,000, but yeah, it's really nice. So I want to make more games with this technique. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to go back to the edit.html, but let's go. Yeah, let's go here. And let's just remove that new web view. Yeah. But anyways, I like how this is shaping up. Slowly but surely, I'm getting everything to a point that I like. So yeah, I guess this was a short video. I don't know how long it's been, but yeah, I'll just end it here. I'll see you later. How the fuck do I stop this?